Welcome to Faith in 5, a weekly video devotional designed to discuss practical spiritual concepts in 5 minutes or less. I'm your host, Mark Vandella. So the other day I was at Panera. It was like middle of September, and I ordered a cold coffee. And the person behind the register looked at me and said, "I'm sorry, sir, we don't have cold coffee in the fall." And I looked at my watch and I thought, it's like September 15. Like, I don't even know if it's officially fall yet. She said, "Well, yeah, we actually take it off our menu in the fall." And I thought, it's kind of odd. And I said, "Well, can I just get a coffee cup with ice and we'll put, coffee on it?" She's like, "I'm sorry, sir, we don't have cold coffee." And what I realized was Panera made a general understanding based on what most people's preferences are. And anything outside of that preference is strange or weird, because she looked at me like, "Well, you want cold coffee? No, fall, it doesn't work, right? This is the time of pumpkin spice latte, not cold coffee. Don't you know that?" But I'm weird. I don't like warm drinks. And I know that I'm weird, and it'll be 14 degrees in January, and I'll order an iced coffee. Not at Panera, though. I'll order it somewhere else. But the odd thing about me is I don't like warm drinks. However, I brush my teeth with warm water. And when I tell people that, they're like, "Oh, that's gross. Why would you do that?" Well, I don't wash my dishes with cold water, right? Warm water usually cleans stuff better, so why would I wash my teeth with cold water? Right? I know I'm totally weird. I'm odd. I'm strange. I get it. And the reason I'm saying that is we've started a new series called Supernatural. And because we're heading into Halloween, I thought it'd be fun to just take a look at some of the weird things in the Bible, some of the strange things that happen, and really wrestle with maybe there's some things we don't understand or can't understand, and maybe there's some lessons we could still learn even though it's outside of our experience, right? It's outside the general norm, so you and I consider it weird, but maybe we could still learn something from it. So we're going to have a little bit of fun in this series, and today specifically we're looking at maybe laying a foundation for why some of the things in the Bible seem strange to us. And so I was listening to a talk that Francis Chan did on some of the weird stuff in the Bible. He actually did a message on a verse in Exodus that nobody preaches on. And he said, why? Because it's weird. And we don't like to talk about things that are weird. We like to grab the parts of the Bible that make us feel good and make us feel comfortable, or potentially even worse, the things that prove our points. Right? And he said, so I want to really challenge us to do something different. He said, here, consider this. Here's the deal. Here's why there's weird stuff in the Bible. He said, let's assume who's the smartest person in the room. So I'm just going to assume that you, the person listening, is the smartest person listening. Right? So that puts you like right here. Well, this weekend I had an opportunity to hang out with my 2-year-old nephew. I love my nephew. He's hilarious. He's very smart, very verbal for a 2-year-old. Obviously, I'm partial. Graham is hilarious, but he's 2. And so you, the smartest person listening, has some sort of knowledge way up here, and my 2-year-old nephew, Graham, has knowledge that's like here. There's a gap. And see, Francis Chan talks about this. He says that in Isaiah 55, 8 through 9, God also talks about this gap. It says that my thoughts, this is God talking to his people, it says, my thoughts are nothing like your thoughts. See, my ways are beyond anything you could imagine. If you can understand that the heavens are so far above the earth, so is my thoughts and my ways way above yours, right? Like Graham, you, smartest person listening, and then God is somewhere like way, way up there. There's a gap. And anytime there's a gap in understanding and knowledge, it's weird, right? And we don't like weird. We don't like that gap. We don't like that space. There's times where Graham, when he dances, he calls it dancing, right? His dancing is just running around in circles. If I did that at a wedding, right, it would be weird. But it's not weird for a 2-year-old. And so that gap is why we have these things in the Bible that maybe don't make sense. And see, the application for you today to apply tomorrow is really, what do I do with this? What do I do with this gap? What do I do with the strange things, the weird things that are in the Bible? And what I would encourage you to do is not overlook them and don't skip them. The first thing that you can do is maybe actually make a list of some of those things that you don't get and go back and read them. Because even though you're the smartest person listening, when you read them, you might gain a little bit more knowledge, or there might be something that you can do, you've lived a little bit more life, and it might start to make more sense. So don't skip over them. Don't ignore them. Really dig in and try to understand. And that's what we're going to do throughout this supernatural series. We're going to try to take a look at some things like the demon-possessed man, or what the devil does in the garden originally, and really try to understand that, because it's weird. But the other thing you can do, see, I have a lot of people that say, I couldn't believe in a God that would do that. I don't get that, and I don't understand it, so I could never believe in a God. The second thing I want to encourage you to do as you consider your faith this week is to maybe try to strike a balance between trying to understand, like maybe I'll wrestle with some of those weird things, but also this other side of it, that there's a possibility you cannot understand everything because of that gap. And so our goal this week as we live out faith is to dig in, but also get more comfortable with not knowing everything and understanding anything. This week, live out your faith in awe of God and seeking to understand some things, but also grow more comfortable with the things you don't understand.